And I currently manage an Overwatch team for funsies of my old tournament friends. And we just placed top 16 in our first major in preparation for Open Division, like in 3 days. So that was kind of fun. After practicing for 2 weeks, I think beating out some former Overwatch League players is pretty Gucci. So yeah, it's what I've been doing. Oh, and I lecture at college, and I coach collegiately for Overwatch as well, so I do that stuff too. Coffee hasn't kicked in. But, so yeah, there are a lot of different types of marketing involved in being a gamer. Does anybody in here have do you guys want to be pro streamers? Anybody want to potentially be a pro streamer, a partner at some point? Okay, we have one person, kinda a few people. And then how many people in here are yo, I'm that top 1% of that top 1% of gamers. I want to be a pro gamer. I want to be signed to an org. That type of thing. Anybody? No? One person, 2 people. Okay. Well, I've been a part of an org as well. So I have that experience. So I have multiple different viewpoints, and I have been paid to stream as well. But a lot of people, when they think of marketing themselves as a gamer, they think especially people that want to go the pro gamer path, they think that, oh, well, all I need to do is play this video game for 10 plus hours a day and grind it and grind ranking and all this other stuff. But there's so much more into actually being a successful gamer or being somebody who has the potential to be a successful pro gamer, not even just in the esports space, but also in just the internet culture as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that for this panel. So the different types of marketing I want to touch on during this panel are social media marketing, event marketing, networking, and branding. So how many of you have social media? Yay, millennials. How many of you have a social media specifically dedicated to your gaming or your gaming persona if you have one? Okay, so we're everybody has a social media, but then only about half of you have something dedicated to your gaming persona. If you have a gaming persona and you don't have a social media dedicated to it, you are already failing. So do that, right now. Start making a Twitter account. Because, fun fact, for gaming and streaming, Twitter is actually the most relevant social media outside of the Twitch platform and everything. So a lot of esports happens on Twitter. You can just go on Twitter and see pros from all of the different tier 1 orgs, even the orgs that aren't even in a tier, and all the different pro teams, aspiring teams, players, managers, companies, sponsorships. A lot of what Twitter is used for in the market game is you can directly interact with your fan base. So you can build that connection there. And then you also can potentially network with companies that are doing sponsorships and things like that. And so that's always handy. And a lot of people you can just reach out to via open DMs as long as you don't, use internet terminology and you use proper grammar. Normally you get a response. So other than Twitter, there's Twitch. How many people here have a Twitch? You don't even need to be a streamer, but you have a Twitch account. Okay, so that's I'd say maybe 60% of you guys, which is good. If you want to go the content creation route as a gamer, I highly suggest you get a Twitch and stream on it. Generally for content creation, for the gamer side of things, a lot of people put their content out either on Twitch or YouTube. There's not normally too much overlap until you get to be a very renowned internet presence. So I'm gonna use internet. I'm gonna use internet, yes, I'm gonna use the internet. I'm gonna use Overwatch as an example. So how many people here have heard of Kefri? I'm shooketh. Okay, XQC. Okay, we'll use XQC as the example then, because they both do the same thing. So XQC is like a huge Twitch streamer. I think he's probably the biggest Overwatch streamer right now. It's either him or like Seagull if he still streams. But anyways, he has like hundreds of thousands of followers and like subscribers and stuff like that on Twitch. So he's like very well known, right? So what streamers of that caliber do is they make a YouTube channel and they basically just like put up stream clips on there, and they put like witty little titles like XQC gets rage tilted by #1 McCree or something like that, like clickbaity titles and things like that. And then they're able to get like double the revenue off of just like one thing that they did. And a lot of people think that that's what you need to do when you're first starting out, but a lot of people don't have that fan base. Like the whole reason why that's successful for certain people is because they already have that established fan base. And the established fan base on one platform is so great that even a fraction of that on another platform is still going to generate enough revenue to justify like maintaining that other site as well. So that's just something that happens. Any questions so far about any of this? I'm just kind of like rolling through. No? Okay, cool. So then I want to talk a little bit about Discord. So who here has a Discord? Yeah, wow, I'm surprised. I think other than like just general social media, that's like the most popular thing that you guys have had so far. So Discord, I have had to use it for my day job for the past like 3 years. I love Discord actually, it's really fun. I like how much freedom you have in the app as far as like building your own servers are concerned. So for those of you that do have a Discord, do you guys like have your own server? Yes, have your own server? Okay. For those of you that are thinking about doing like streaming and like pro gamer, do you guys have your own server? I know that's like 3 of you, but yeah? Okay, so a few of you have your own servers, that's really good. If you do want to become a personality or a professional in the esports or gaming scene, you should make a Discord server. Every streamer I know has a Discord server, whether they're a huge partnered streamer or they just started streaming like a week ago. They have their own server. It doesn't have to be like the most well put together thing where you have like dozens of custom emotes or anything like that. Like it can just be like a welcome page, a rule page, general chat, like a voice chat channel for like streaming or something like that. And like, there you go. It's also like, you can use it to network a lot as well. I don't particularly use it for this reason, just because I enjoy talking to other gamers and people and stuff like that. And I smurf a lot, so I just like put in there whenever I'm smurfing, and I'll get people from like multiple different servers wanting to just like smurf and chill. But another thing that you can do is be in other people, like your friends' servers and stuff like that. And if you're friends with people who are like streamers as well, or they do like, let's say they do some of the like smaller like minor tournaments that are online for like different esports and stuff like that, like you could hop in their server and be like, hey, I'm practicing right now, does anybody want to join? Or like, hey, I'm streaming, does anybody want to join in my stream? And then you can have like their friends and fans like start being interested in your content because you're working with like their friend and stuff like that, or like somebody that they're a fan of. And sometimes like those people will like plug your stream and stuff like that, so you're getting free like reach added on to your channel, and it's organic growth, which is really great, because like a lot of people think that you need to pay to have like page growth and stuff like that. And while, you know, being able to do all of the social media algorithms and analytics is like super useful, like if you can just build your own like community that supports each other, like of other streamers, other gamers, things like that, then you can get a lot of growth organically yourself. Like, and you don't necessarily need to pay for things. I personally don't pay for social media marketing. I don't normally care about it for myself because I'm lazy, but when I do it for like other people or other like companies I've done it for, like I always have like really, really good organic growth, because I feel like that's more genuine than just paying for bots from like another country. So it's just something that you can do on Discord as well. Another thing is, it's just like there are a lot of tournaments that are in Discord. So I'm gonna bring up my phone right now because I don't remember the name of these servers because I'm in like 30. So there are like multiple different servers. Like for Overwatch, for instance, the big one is called like the OW, and it has every single person in the Overwatch league in it. Like players, coaches, managers, team owners, things like that. Has everybody in contenders, everybody in contenders trials, everybody in open, a lot of people from TESPA. Like it's a really big server, and so like I've been going on there to find scrims for my team in preparation for open division and things like that. And while doing that, I've also been able to find like people to try out for coaches, people to try out for players, people who would be interested in doing an internship under me for like managing a team, things like that. And you also can just like make friends in servers like that. And like some of these servers, you never know who's in them. Like I'm in this Pugs, which is like a pickup game scrim for North America, and I'm trying to find it. Here it is. And like I didn't know this when I joined it at the time, but there are a lot of really famous streamers in there, people who are signed to like TSM and like various other like tier 1 orgs and stuff like that. I'm like, oh cool, they'll crap on me, but I guess I could play a game with them and stuff. And like just being in environments where like you can be like interacting with people like that is always really good for like yourself and your brand and everything. So just Discord's a really easy place for that. I think it's easier than social media, personally. And I already talked about like YouTube, how YouTube and Twitch correlate and everything. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about on social media. Do I have any questions about social media in general? I know I didn't talk about like Instagram or like Facebook or any of those. Like if anybody has questions about those, I'm really good at Facebook. But yes.
Okay, so say if you tweeted a YouTube video of yours, would it be appropriate to post that same link multiple times in the day, or even multiple times in a week?
So he wants to know if when he...
Well, more than once.
Okay, so when you're sharing a video on YouTube that you just made, is it appropriate to share it multiple times on the same platform in one day, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It depends. So it depends on like the type of content you do. Personally, I don't necessarily reshare things unless like I need to. So what I would do for something like that. So I did a little experiment the other day just to make sure that I was still good at making stuff with like organic reach, and I tweeted out a crappy little photo of my Team Rocket cosplay that I did for Halloween for the memes. And I shared it in like, I don't know, maybe like 10 or 15 groups in Facebook and stuff like that. And like, I ended up going, my page that I shared it from had like, I think 2,800 likes. And my reach was like under 1,000 because I don't post. And then by the end of like the following day, my reach was over 26,000. Organically. So like you can retweet things, I guess. It's just like how you go about doing it. Also, it's better if you have other people, like your friends, retweeting your content for you. That's actually something as a social media marketer that irritates me so much, is when you have friends that are like, oh yeah, I support you, but like they never, pop into your streams, they never retweet your things. Like, it is literally free. If you have a friend that you know is trying to make this their viable source of income, and you can't spend 5 seconds clicking like retweet or share or something like that, because that is how people get the organic growth. Honestly, likes on Twitter don't really matter at all. It's the number of retweets that matter, because that means that your post is getting shared to another person's feed, and then their friends are gonna be, like their followers are gonna be seeing it, and then they might find it relevant, and then they'll retweet it, and et cetera, et cetera. That's how like chatter grows on Twitter, if that makes sense. So, like, I would say if you want to do that, have your friends retweet your post for you, or share it directly from the YouTube source. If you're trying to increase your Twitter at the same time as you are increasing your YouTube views for that video, then have them share the tweet that you made. If you are trying to just like only focus on your YouTube for the most part, then just have them share it from the original source, because that'll increase your YouTube more, if that makes any sense.
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
So when having like social media dedicated to like your gaming persona, is it required to have a tag?
What do you mean a tag?
Like, so like I like have a Twitter account that like is like dedicated just like to my gaming hobby and stuff. But I don't use my full name, but I just use my real first name.
Okay.
And it's like, is that still like cool, or do I need like some like tag to go by, like as like like your gamer tag? Like.
All right. So he wants to know if for your social media that you have dedicated to your gaming persona, if like you have to have like a gamer tag, so like your gamer tag from Xbox, or like your battle tag or something like that. Like one of the guys on my team, his name is Hayden, but he goes by Save online type thing. You don't necessarily need to do it. It depends on what you are comfortable with, because if you don't create your own like battle tag or like gamer tag, then eventually you'll just be known by your first name. And it's whether or not you feel comfortable with people that you don't know, that know you from the internet, knowing your legal first name. Like, that's all it comes down to, honestly. There's actually a lot of philosophical reasons behind why some people are starting to veer away from using their battle tag and gamer tag, and they're starting to go by their legal name. My co-panelist yesterday actually is the person that knows more about it than I do, but he couldn't be here today. But yeah, it's a whole topic. I'm thinking about doing a panel on it in the future, because it's a really deep discussion.
So
but
it doesn't like affect anything with like marketability?
No, not really. I mean, as long as your legal name isn't something that's like actually obscene. Which, I mean, I've seen some people whose parents, like, I don't know if they liked them or not, but like, if you're comfortable with it, then do it. Nothing's stopping you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sort of on that topic though, if you do choose to go with your own name, sometimes if you're a content creator, it can cause some issues just in the thought of disconnect. Because if you have a persona and people begin criticizing that, then they're criticizing that persona. But if that persona is just you, then all of that criticism goes directly to you.
That's part of the whole philosophical thing, and you're not wrong. But yeah, that's something personal. Like, I've never really had an issue with that personally, but I know some people have. So, like I said, it really comes down to a personal decision, and that is something that you should also take into account, whether, like, on top of being comfortable with like having the whole internet know your legal first name, like how you handle criticism. Because like if you're on the internet and you do anything, you're gonna get criticized. Like, especially if you're a woman or like person of color, anything like that. Like if you're not like a stereotypical like white male, for the most part, you get criticized. And even stereotypical white males get criticized for the dumbest crap online. Like, it's just not a nice place. So like personal preference is what it comes down to, honestly. But yeah.
Is it more marketable to stream and play multiple games for a bigger audience, or stick to one game that you really enjoy playing?
It depends on the streamer. There are variety streamers, and that's a variety of streamers, essentially what you just said. Or instead of just streaming video games, they'll stream something else. Like for instance, I was a costume designer for years before I was a gamer. Like I was a cosplay guest like all over the country and did some international work too. And like I did cosplay and gaming streams. So like I was technically a variety streamer for a while. But normally you'll find that your fan base is always greater for one thing. And when you're just starting out, like for instance, the biggest thing that people have an issue with on Twitch is getting partnered. And the biggest thing, like the one criteria that's the hardest thing to meet for that is getting the 75 concurrent viewers that you need to for like a whole month. I can hear people's frustration, like you know the struggle. And if you're streaming multiple different things, like you may be able to have 75 or like even 100 viewers for like one game, but like if you have a schedule where you stream that game one day and then another game where you get maybe like 30 or 40 viewers a day, like you're not gonna be able to meet that average that you need to meet. And so like it comes down to that for a lot of the time. Personally, I just kind of like, I don't care about making money on streaming. I just do it to interact with people and stuff. So I've never really personally done that for my own brand, but I know that it's a big area of like effort for a lot of other people. So you have to like weigh the pros and cons of streaming multiple things versus streaming one thing. Yeah.
So I recently became a Twitch affiliate.
Congrats.
So.
Yay. It's a lot harder than when I got invited in beta, guys.
So I would like some advice. Like, what as a Twitch affiliate, what's next? Like, where should I go from here?
So this wonderful man just became a Twitch affiliate, and he wants to know what's the next step. Well, the long game is partner. For the next step with Twitch affiliate, what you are going to want to be doing is you are going to want to be establishing your brand. Because getting affiliate, I don't know if it was just because I already had a very well-established fan base for costuming before I started streaming, but I've been streaming before affiliate was a thing. And the first like month I started streaming, I had like over 100 followers just because like I had like years of internet stuff behind me. And so a lot, like affiliate, I think the minimum requirement is 3 concurrent viewers for all of your streams. You have to stream 10 hours a month, and you have to have 50 followers?
Yeah, 50 followers,
At least 57.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm not wrong, yay. So in the grand scheme of like branding and creating like your own persona and image and establishing yourself, that's very minimal at the end of the day. It is still, like if you're starting from nothing, that is still something to be very proud of. Everything. However, you have a very long way to go before your partner. Most people can't obtain partner until they have multiple thousands of followers. So what you should be doing right now is you should be focusing on making your page look as nice as you can and streamlining your stream. So something that affects a lot of streamers and something that affects me where I currently live, because I live in the middle of nowhere with crap internet, I have an issue with my stream cutting in and out if I'm playing online competitive games. Yeah, you feel the struggle? Yeah.
When I was streaming my fighting game stuff, like my stuff keeps cutting in and out.
So what you should be doing is you should be focusing on how to fix that. And a lot of that is you have to do like bandwidth tests to see if like you're getting screwed, because like sometimes cable providers like don't provide you the bandwidth that you're supposed to be getting. You need to let them know because there could be something wrong with your modem. Another thing you can do is there are YouTube videos out there that teach you how to change your bit rate and stuff, and also change the the 1080, 720, that stuff. Resolution, thank you. I English well. And then you can like change that to affect it. You can also change what server you're connected to stream through, various other things like that, and you can find YouTube videos on that. So what you want to do is you want to go and you want to do testers to test that stuff out, like maybe have a friend that is also a streamer, or like even spectate yourself on your phone or something, just to see like if your quality is fixed. Another thing you need to consider is the majority of people who actually watch Twitch, they watch from mobile. So a lot of people think that they need to be streaming in like 1080p or higher. Realistically, you can get away with 720 pretty easy, because when you're on a phone, you can't tell the difference. So yeah, so if you feel bad about having to lower the resolution and the bit rate, most people can't tell. So that's something. And then also, in the About Me section for Twitch, like the panel section on Twitch, like on your page.
Yeah, I think I did someone up earlier. Oh, yeah, I think I did.
Where you have like the graphics and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you have that filled out. Another thing that people look at is if they're like discovering your page for the first time, they'll watch your stream for a few minutes while they're watching, like while there's a lull, like you're waiting in queue for a match or something like that. They'll just like scroll through your page, and if there's nothing there, it's like, So like have something there. It doesn't necessarily, you don't have to pay a graphic artist for graphics. You could just like pull something off the internet and just like fill it in and everything like underneath of it. But it also like helps like visually, if you can do it in a way, it'll like lead people to continue reading about you. And then like eventually once you get sponsorships, you can like lead them to where the sponsors are. You can lead them to like chat rules or like who the top donators are and things like that. So it's another way of like marketing that you can do. So for right now, fix your stream and focus on making your page look pretty. And there are lots of YouTube videos that you can watch for free on all of that stuff, which should be helpful. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Do you think it's very necessary to do competitive gaming? So like as a variety streamer myself, I don't tend to do competitive, especially not on stream, just because
Stream sniping.
That brings in a lot of expectations when I tend to just play like for fun and for the interaction.
Yeah.
As opposed to like getting heated in a competitive match. Do you feel like that's necessary for growth? Like to really?
I don't think it is. Most gamers are like they'll play comp, but let's be real. Are you really watching somebody's stream who's playing comp in platinum or gold because of the high level gameplay? Like this is something we really need to ask ourselves. Like, no, you're not. You're watching their stream because you like the person, you find them entertaining. So like if you're entertaining without doing competitive gaming, you don't need to do competitive gaming. You can do what you want. Like my last stream that I did before Christmas, I did a Christmas card stream where I had people like send me their addresses live. I would write them out a Christmas card. I just did a just chatting stream, like drink hot chocolate with me and I'll send you a Christmas card. And it went pretty good. Like I had like over 50 cards I had to send out by the end of the stream. Like you just do, like interact with your people. They care about the interaction more than they care about the quality of gameplay. Like yes, there are some people, like I care about quality of gameplay. Like unless you're my friend, I'm not gonna watch a streamer that isn't professional level at something, just because like I work in esports for my day job. I need to watch professional gamers and keep myself like relevant and everything and like knowledgeable. So I watch Twitch for my job. So I have a different mindset than a lot of people do. Most people watch Twitch for entertainment. So don't feel bad about not doing comp. Yeah. There was another question? Yeah.
Do you have any experience with interdependent streaming or having a group of people stream off of the same persona, per se, example like Vextra?
Like the same Twitch URL?
Yes, and then from there, can you give any pathway of how you can kind of split away from that and kind of make your own persona if that's even possible or, ideal?
Okay, so I've done that a lot actually. When you're part of an org, like you'll have like an org Twitch, and then like multiple people will have like the stream keys and stuff like that. So I've done it before. I've done it for multiple different companies actually, for like charity streams and stuff. I've done it for my org. I've done it for different Overwatch teams I've been a part of. one of my best friends that I went to college with is a music producer for video games, and she lives 10 minutes away from me, so sometimes we go do co-streams for the memes, and I'll just go over to her house and stream on her Twitch, or vice versa. If you're doing that initially, make sure that on the Twitch page you have, like, you each have your own name. And when you have your social media for your Twitch, so like you have the general page for like the group Twitch. I'm gonna call it a group Twitch, all right? So for the group Twitch, you have your own social media. For that, you have like your own Twitter, for instance. And then you will start streaming. When you start streaming, you're going to put on that group Twitter, hey, John is streaming today, and he's gonna be streaming this on our channel. And then eventually when people on the channel start acknowledging you as your own individual person, then you can start making your own social media and be like, hey, I'm John from the Twitch show, or something. And then you can start like doing that. And then once you make your own individual like social media, you can start like being your own individual person. Like obviously keep everything that you say within the like rules that your group decided on for like conduct and like how you address people and things like that. But you can be a little bit more like yourself. And that's how you're gonna get people, is like people don't wanna follow just a random person. They wanna follow somebody that they like have a connection with, and you'll be able to build that connection like that way. And then people will be like, you'll have your own individual fans for that show, and then they'll show up while you're streaming and whatnot. And then if you're only streaming 1 day a week, for instance, on your Twitch group, then you can make your own Twitch to supplement that. So you'll have your schedule for your own individual, and then you'll have your schedule for the group as well. And you can grow that way. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I have one more question.
Okay.
All right, so I just like the gentleman before, I just got affiliated a couple months ago.
Yay!
Again, the biggest problem coming up with is organic growth.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm stuck at a solid 4 people for the most part, but then every once in a while I get as high as 12 for maybe an hour or so.
That's how it goes, though.
Yeah.
That's how it goes until you get like that regular schedule and everything. Like, do you have a regular schedule?
Yes, Wednesday through Saturday for like 12 hours if I'm not doing anything. I'm already gaming, so why not just do it on my own people and hang out with you? That's how it is.
Okay, so that's a really long stream.
Yeah, it's a matter of just chatting with people, and then hey, what games you guys want to play? Like I'm promoting a player too. You know, everyone wants to be the star player, so why not give someone the option of having someone to play with it? They're always playing by themselves. You know, the thing I think our community lacks in is having someone to play with. So that's what I'm going for.
Okay.
It's not always 12 hours. It's usually like say between 8 and 12. It just depends on how.
Yeah, still 8 is a lot.
Yeah, if you don't got anything else you're doing at the time, like I said, right?
Okay.
So, again, what do you recommend besides just blowing up your Facebook and your Twitter and constantly harassing people? And your friends seem to want to help, but like you said, they're not helping you with that immediate or organic growth. Even if it's just sitting in your channel for like a couple hours just to get people.
Yeah, like lurk.
Yeah.
Literally lurk.
Yeah.
I have a few different thoughts, and I'm trying to collect them for a moment. So, for you personally, it seems like you're coming into an issue of quantity over quality, maybe? I've been paid to stream for companies, and my contracts, I've never had to stream more than like 10 hours a week. If you're like, when it comes down to trying to get partner, for instance, one of the things that people do to hit that 75 concurrent viewers is they really go through and read their algorithm. So like, if you're streaming for 12 hours a day, chances are you're not having the same viewers concurrently through your stream, because that's just a long freaking time to stream. Even 8 hours is a long time. If I'm streaming more than 3 hours, I'm like, okay, y'all, I'm done. Like, I got a life. I need to go eat. Like, that's just me. But, like, the amount that you're streaming can hinder you in your progress because you're streaming for such a long period of time. Maybe, like, narrow that window a little bit. Like, you could still be online, not like streaming, but like that's where your Discord can come in handy. Like you can just collect all the people that you game with in your Discord and be like, hey guys, like I just finished my stream, but I'm gonna hop on and play CSGO instead of Overwatch. Like who wants to go and get wrecked by like Smurfs with me? Because that's my life. And people would be like, yeah, sure, I'll hop on and everything. I was playing by myself. Or like, I'll join you, we could duo stack and stuff. So like that's kind of how that goes. And like I said, when you're trying to reach partner, like people will see when they have the most viewers out of the hours that they currently stream. And then they'll spend like a month or two like researching it, for instance, because you need to meet the average for I think like 1 month in order to hit partner. So you'll do like a month or two of research on your own channel and see where like the majority of the people are coming to watch your channel from, like where they're coming from, if they're coming from Twitter, if they're coming from your followers, if they're coming from Twitch search, various other things like that, Google searches. And then they're going to see like in their normal streaming schedule when they have their peak viewers. And so then they're going to change their, oh my, I keep hitting these. And then they're going to change their streaming schedule to like streamline when they have the most viewers for like the content that they get the most viewers for as well for like the most time. And then they're going to base their schedule for a month off of that and ideally like grow their fan base that way. And so that's why I'm saying like you may want to focus a little bit more on quality over quantity. Like it's boring. You might feel like you're not doing, because everybody thinks like, oh, I'm a streamer, I need to be live. You don't need to necessarily be live if you're a streamer. Like, yes, you do need to be live to like meet your contract requirements and stuff like that. But a lot of streaming is stuff that goes on behind the scenes, like the research and everything, and like optimizing your stream settings, making sure your stream looks nice, have a pretty overlay, have your own individual emotes for your sub slots and stuff like that. So like focusing on more of the soft things of streaming, like the behind the scenes skills rather than the in the camera skills might help you for where you're at right now.
Thank you very much.
Yep. So I actually have like 20 minutes left and I still have an entire page of other marketing crap to go through. So if y'all are cool, I'm gonna move away from social media and Twitch for a moment. I'm gonna talk about all the other aspects because let's be real, I don't care about streaming for my own personal like growth. I do it for my fans that aren't local. I have not monetized it at all. So I've gotten all of my success on other areas of marketing. And so I wanna teach you the less known things that I've been doing for a decade. So a big part of marketing is being social. You need to interact with people online and in person. So, like you're here, that's awesome. How many of you have talked to a random stranger about what you want to do in gaming? Yeah? Okay, a few of you. All of you have homework, okay? This is why I lecture at college. You're gonna talk to a random stranger, not me though, because I have a tournament in like an hour. But y'all are gonna talk to some random stranger you meet like waiting in line for a panel, like in the dealer's room, about what you wanna do with gaming, like introduce yourself. Like just talk to a random person. If a random person walks up to you and like, you look like a nice person to talk to, and you guys start talking, talk with them about what you wanna do in gaming. It's a gaming convention, it's not a weird conversation to have. Go be social, go meet like a random person, like seriously. Like I have had, like my first esports sponsor was back in 2015 and I met him. He was a CEO of a esports apparel company. He just wanted a place to sit down and my booth had a spare chair. And I'm like, yeah, dude, come over here. Like, I don't care. Like, sit down, you look tired. I didn't know who he was or anything. Then we got to talking. I found out he's a CEO of a company that's looking for people to sponsor. Hello. Like, you and then I ended up being friends with him, and I've worked with his company for like 5 years, and he's a great guy and everything. But like, that wouldn't have happened if I was like on my phone the whole time, or if I was like my RBF face like I normally have, because I'm tired at these things. Like, you need to, like, you just never know who a person is. So like, if you have an opportunity to speak to a random person, you never know. It could be like a CEO, it could be like a big name content creator that just doesn't show their face in their YouTube videos. Like, you really never know. Or it could just be something that somebody that you'll be really good friends with, and like you can play games online with, and that's also really great. So social, live events, it's very important to be social. So that brings me into event marketing. So event marketing is kind of where I'm more of a specialist in this rather than social media. Like, I know my social media stuff clearly, but I'm better at like this whole like in-person thing. So there are several different events that you can do event marketing for yourself at, and I like to call it guerrilla marketing, and I'll get into that in a minute. So you have conventions like what we're at right now, midnight releases for games. Yes, GameStop still does those. I did not know until Smash Ultimate. They were like, yeah, we're doing a tournament, we have pizza, we have soda. I'm like, word. So like, I went and I hung out with a bunch of the local people that I never see because I don't leave my house. And then you have local tournaments. I know a lot of you guys aren't trying to be pro gamers, but like, have any of you guys gone to like small local tournaments at some point? Like FGC has a lot of them. Yeah, okay, so a lot of you have gone to small local tournaments. You can network there. And then like watch parties. So I think I've gone to like one watch party because it was at an event that I was a guest at or something. But I don't really do watch parties personally, but I'm gonna start hosting them in the near future just for fun. But yeah, those are like different like events that you could be like marketing yourself at, like talking to people, stuff like that. Talk to people, it's important. I can't stress that enough. I've met some of the most random successful people just by looking like a decent person to talk to. Like, you really never know. So going on with that, a big thing for event marketing is making sure you have like some way for people to be able to like have your contact information. I do business cards. I feel weird saying I have a business card. I don't feel like I've literally been dressing up as a fictional character for a decade, and then I kill things in video games. Like, it's weird thinking you need a business card to do those things, but like, if you want to make money doing those things, having a business card is pretty useful, I'd like to say. So like, you could just go to Vistaprint, pay $10, get like 500. You won't go through that 500 in a year, I guarantee you. Like, I still have boxes from like 2 years ago that I still haven't gone through because I just like, I feel weird handing them out, but I do anyways type thing. So business cards are super big. You can have like your Twitter on there, your Twitch on there, your email on there for contact information. Please don't have a cringy email. I have a cringy email. I don't like it, but you know, it's whatever at this point. I've been doing it for 10 years. I can't go back now. So yeah, those things are super useful. So for event marketing, also there are other things that you can do. So we're at a con right now, so I'll use a con as an example. Would you guys say you primarily go to conventions or like any of the other types of events that I've listed? Like mainly conventions? Okay, let's say like mainly like tournaments or watch parties. Okay, so it's about 50-50. So something that you can do at conventions, you can do what I'm doing right now. You can lead a panel. You can't lead it as like a professional like insight to like an industry, but you could lead a fan panel. You know, you could like, if you really like, let's say Legend of Zelda, lead a Legend of Zelda panel. Like think of something interesting that you want to talk to people about or with people about for like an hour. Make a PowerPoint presentation, just go and do it. Like, you get a free pass. You know, you can do it. That's a good way, because then you're listed in the convention's program book. You're listed in like their guidebook app if they have a guidebook. And then like people are stuck in a room with you for an hour. Like, y'all know what I'm talking about. So like you're gonna be able to get to know people through that, like just depending on how you do your panel and stuff, and then people will, and if you continue doing that at like your local convention circuit, people are like, oh hey, yeah, I saw you lead this panel at blah 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 convention and stuff, and they'll just keep seeing you, and then you'll get like that like recognition and stuff. Another little fact, when you are online for social media, I forgot to mention this because I'm blonde, but when you are trying to make yourself known to another person, for instance, like another influencer or like another org, it takes 7 different times they've seen your name for them to start developing recognition. So commenting on people's things is actually relevant. Yeah, so be social, comment on things. Don't just lurk and like. But yeah, so that's something that you can do for like tournaments and watch parties. Like, so for tournaments, I've always just like kind of been a content creator and entered into, I don't really do a lot of Overwatch tournaments aren't LAN tournaments, so I don't really have like that personal experience of being a competitor at LANs very much, other than like for Smash Melee, and I'm past that, so I wear deodorant now and I'm a little bit more approachable. But yeah. Y'all get it. It's valid. But like you can just like be outgoing, like maybe like when you're warming up, you know, try to like find somebody to warm up with. Like some tournaments, the only like really big Smash tournament I go to is Super Smash Con. So I know that it's very different than most other events since it's the 2nd largest in the world. But like they have a room set up where people can like warm up and stuff before their tournament match, and that's mainly for like the top tier players and stuff. But then they also have like open play areas where people do like warm ups and like money matches and things like that. And like you could just like find a random person like, hey, you're playing this game, I have my match soon, do you want to like help warm me up and stuff? And people most of the time will agree just because they probably need to warm up too for their upcoming match. And so you can meet people that way, just like as long as you're not a dick and doing like, you're not like crap talking them and trying to tilt them. Like you should be fine. Or if they do that to you, do it right back and you might make a friend, you never know. I've made friends like that. I've made friends with trolls on accident. So you can just be outgoing like that, or if you see like one guy at like the same tournament all the time, be like, hey man, I've seen you a bunch, like talk with them. Like it's not gonna be weird if y'all are both in the same like competitive circuit and everything. You could even offer like, hey, like I can film your match if you could film mine so we could put something on Twitter later type things like that. Like just be a decent human being, you know? You can network that way. Do I have any questions about event marketing? I kind of just like skimmed over everything in it because I normally talk about event marketing for a lot longer than I did, but any questions? Anything about event marketing? Nah? All right. Wait, yeah?
So what are like kind of like the steps to say like I wanted to like start my own like kind of tournament / event at some like local venue? Like how would I kind of get the word out there? Like, hey, I'm doing this.
That is a whole panel. That is a whole panel. Months in advance of work. You're gonna need multiple people. You might need an investor or a business loan, depending on the size of the local you wanna do and like all the tech that you wanna do. It's work. A lot of work. You're gonna need, like, think about it like you were trying to form like a small business kind of thing. So every job in esports has a traditional industry like job correlation, if that makes sense. So like director of marketing for esports. Guess what? I could do the same thing for a regular company if I wanted to. And like broadcaster or like a streamer, shoutcaster, a lot of the shoutcasters for like the professional leagues and stuff like that, they had to do their degree in like broadcast journalism or like broadcasting and communications and stuff like that. So like they could work in like a regular news station as a reporter if they wanted to, or an anchor or stuff like that. It's very similar training. So you need to look at it like that way. So if you have experience working with like traditional businesses, just like kind of put an esport twist on it. So like you'll need a person in charge of marketing and they handle like all your social media stuff. Then you'll need somebody in charge of tech, because tournaments, you need to have consoles and you need to have TVs and things like that, or like computers if you're doing a LAN. You'll need to have somebody to do like business strategy and like growth and acquisition for like partners and sponsorships and stuff like that. Because a lot of events, even the smaller events, have like their own like sponsor for the event. Like it doesn't have to be like cup of ramen noodles or whatever, like what Super Smash Con had, but you could have like, you know, a local comic book shop sponsor and maybe give away like a $25 or $50 gift card for the tournament prize or something like that. And then you need to have somebody in charge of finance and everything. Then you need to have somebody in charge of like event planning and marketing and things like that. So it's a whole other panel. But yeah, just to give you an idea, it's like a multiple person job. So things to look into. Google searches to be had. Any other questions on event marketing? I have actually organized events and tournaments before. I've done a Blizzard sanctioned tournament all on my own before. Yeah. That's my crowning achievement as a tournament organizer. Never again. Never again. I hate it. I'm bad at it. But yeah.
Would you, when you're organizing events, would you ever, would it be okay to use event pages like Facebook events or meetup pages?
Oh yeah. That's a part of it. Like MAGFest has an event page. KatsuCon has an event page. I'm pretty sure like Super Smash Con has one, Evo. Like everything has them. It's just a matter of like, not everybody who is going to go to your event is going to be on that one social media. Especially Facebook. Facebook's kind of dying and it makes me sad because it's the one social media where I can like make it do what I want at my will. And I can't do that with the other ones, so it makes me really sad that I have to learn something new. But yeah, you can do event pages. Just make sure that you also market on other social media platforms. So don't put all of your social media marketing in one platform because not everybody uses it. Yeah.
So we've organized several small events, but like, in the future we might run a larger event, and it sounds like you have experience running fairly large events. At what point do you have to reach out for permission to use the IP? And so I've asked that to multiple people, and it's always like different answers, you know, and they say, well, it depends. Do you know, like, at what point do we need to reach out to a Blizzard to get permission to use their intellectual property?
I do know for Blizzard.
Really?
Yes, I do, because I did the Blizzard thing. So there are different types of IP usage for Blizzard specifically. So when you are doing a Blizzard tournament, generally speaking, like, I did my tournament on console, so it's different than like a PC tournament. But if you don't have a cash prize, they tend to not care. The moment money becomes involved, that's when companies care. So if you're going to be doing like a cash prize, like if you want to do like a $500 prize split between like the top 3 teams or something like that, like 60, 30, 10. I mathed, cool. If you want to do something like that, like then you would need to have a Blizzard community license, which is different than like the normal IP to do like merchandising and stuff. If you get a community license, it basically says that you're running a Blizzard sanctioned event. And I don't think those are expensive. I ran my Blizzard tournament through my old org, and the owner had a lifetime community license because he's worked with Blizzard for longer than I've been in gaming. So I didn't have to jump through everything because my owner was just like, oh, I already have one. But I know another tournament that I used to compete in, it took them, I think, like 1 or 2 months to obtain their community license. Yeah. So, and it also depends on the company, because different companies have like different standards and things like that. For instance, I know for like merchandising for Nintendo, they tend to not really care that much. But like other companies like BioWare, like BioWare does Dragon Age, right?
Yes.
Woo! I love Dragon Age. I can never remember the developers, but they care a lot. So does Bethesda, who does Elder Scrolls. So like they care a lot, and so you need to make sure that you have your license for things like that. But that's not really esports related, that's just merchandising. So yeah, it depends. You can normally find out by reaching out to the company, but general rule of thumb, if you're making money involved or you have like a really large event, like over 1,000 people, that's when you should look at like getting a community licensure or seeing what developers have community licenses.
Thank you.
Yep.
Can you have some advice on watch parties?
So I don't really do watch parties. I don't even go to them. My company's starting to organize them. From my understanding, you need to have the venue obviously like picked out beforehand, and then you need to have like your food. And if you're gonna have a big watch party, you can partner it with the developer. That's my rudimentary knowledge. That's probably not very helpful. You probably already knew that. But sorry, it's the one thing I don't do. Literally the one thing. You could probably look it up online. LinkedIn would be a good resource for something like a watch party. Because I know I have a few friends that did League of Legends watch parties out in Chicago, and they were able to get sponsors for it, and they got their sponsors on LinkedIn. So that could be useful as well. But, yeah, sorry. I don't want to give you false information because I'm ignorant. Do I have any more questions not related to watch parties? Okay. Well, I'm gonna, I have like 8 minutes left, so I'm just gonna talk a little bit about branding yourself. So at the end of the day, if you're trying to market yourself as a gamer, you have to think about how you are perceived by everybody else, like what your actions lead others to think about you as a person. So something that a lot of gamers have had issues with in the past is their own personal image. Like, I know it's a part of the just like environment to be a toxic POS. Like, I make so many jokes like, oh wow, imagine having your border match your SR. Like, I say a bunch of really rude things like that. But like, I say them in like a jesting manner, but like if you're like, you know, saying bigoted things or like racial slurs or homophobic slurs and things like that, like, one, you should evaluate yourself as a person before you think about becoming a public figure in any capacity. But like, a lot of people do that. A lot of people make ableist jokes. Like, I know a lot of streamers that constantly call people retarded, which is like rude and disgusting, or like they make fun of autism and various other things. And I'm like, you have like kids that look up to you like a role model. Do you really need to be like this? And you know, companies look at these people and they're like, wow, you have kids that look up to you as a role model. Do you really need to be like this? Like, you need to think about like what type of content you're putting out there, not just in the quality of your gameplay or like the entertainment value, but like what you're really putting out there and everything. And so that's something that a lot of people, I don't think about enough, honestly. I had a player come to me a couple weeks ago, essentially in tears, because he realized that he's been a toxic, horrible person. He's like, I'm gonna lose out on sponsorships because I'm like this. And it like hit him that like, he has the potential to actually be like a tier 1 player for like a pro team, and like he could lose out on it because of his internet presence being known as such a toxic POS. And he was like in tears realizing that like he potentially ruined his future in an industry. And like, I don't want it to get to that point for other people, you know? Like, it's horrible when it gets to that point. And having to undo years of how the public has perceived you it's so hard, and sometimes it can't be undone. So just like think about that when you're going into it, everything. You also, like, other than just not being a toxic POS, there are other things that you need to think about when branding yourself. Like, do you want to be known as a family-friendly person? There are pros and cons to that. I think I'm pretty family-friendly, minus the fact that I curse like a sailor. I get angry in video games, which everybody does, I think. But, so I'm pretty family-friendly. Like, events, like, think that I'm a safe enough bet where they pay me to come out and, like, do meet and greets and stuff, so I think I'm pretty family-friendly. But, like, there are other people who want to rise quickly through the ranks, and they think that doing different things than being family-friendly is how they want to be known. Like, some people, like, I know on Twitch, like, the 420 thing has been big, and I know it's legal in a lot of places, so I don't really even think it's technically an adult thing anymore, but, like, it was for a really long time, and there is still, like, a negative connotation about it. Just thinking of things like that. And then, like, NSFW content. I have managed sponsorship programs for multiple different companies, and I can tell you, somebody can have the most amazing, wonderful content, but some companies, like, you know, they just don't want to work with people that have NSFW content out there. And it sucks, because, you know, it's 2020. Like, that shouldn't really hinder people anymore, but, like, it does still. And it's like, we want to live in a world where it doesn't hinder people, but at the same time, we need to be aware of the rules of the world that we currently live in. So it's just like, it's a really rough topic to talk about, but, like, I've had to make that decision, and I know other people have had to make that decision recently, so that's a thing that people need to think about is, like, you could get a lot of followers doing that, and you can be able to monetize your follower count and things like that and make, like, you know, a supplemental or a viable source of income off of that. But then if you want to do bigger things in the future, like, say you want to be a public face of, like, an apparel line or a brand, or you want to be, like, a host on the Overwatch League or something like that, like, they may not let you do that because you have a certain type of content online, even if you have the followers, the credentials, everything else. Like, it is something to think about, and it's bleak, but I would be remiss if I did not bring it up to you guys. You had your hand up in the back?
Yeah. When you're on streaming, how would you recommend handling if you are streaming with a team that is generally more toxic, less family-friendly, and more like...
So you mean my BFFs?
Like, if you generally are not somebody who, like, curses much or, like, you know, says nasty things to other people, like people on opposing team, that sort of thing, but your teammates might be a little bit more in that direction, how would you recommend handling that kind of situation if you're trying to, like, stream, like, the scrims you're in and whatnot in order to show, like, how well you're playing?
Okay, so you can have them mute themselves if they're gonna start popping off with the vulgarity and the bleep, bleep, bleeps. My teammates actually know. They're like, oh, I'm gonna get toxic. I gotta mute myself, hold on. Or you can make it as a setting, I think, when you're streaming, like your audio from your game doesn't play through or something like that, or make it so, like, Discord doesn't play, because I always talk to my people in Discord while I'm doing a scrim. Make it so your Discord audio doesn't go through to your stream. Like, there are different things that you can play around with that, or you could just tell them, like, hey, a-holes, we're trying to accomplish something here as far as, like, brand growth. We can't be like this. Not now. Like, I've had to do that before. And they're like, okay, mom. All right. I'm like, good. Like, you can just be that person. And, like, if they respect you as a teammate, they'll, like, try to tone it down at the very least. So that's something you can do. Different options. Yeah. But my panel is over. I don't want to go over for the next panelist, but thank you guys for coming.